Hey, what's good, y'all? It's Gabe Rosado, along with Mi Gallo, Abner, and we got one of the top promoters in the game, Loeffler.
Let's go.
Thanks.
Welcome, Tom. Welcome.
It's great to be here, guys. Good to be on the show. I love your podcast. I'm a big fan of the podcast. I like watching it. Now I'm on it.
No doubt, man. You know, Tom hit me. He hit me on the DM. I said, "Oh, snap! Tom hit me up." I said, "You got to fight for me?" I said, "Let's go. I'm ready, Tom." But no, Tom shouted me out, man. He said, "Man, I like what you and Abner are doing with the show, man. It meant a lot to me. I appreciate that, Tom."
But now about that fight. Tell him, Gabe. No,
That's social media. You got it going on social media.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Tom, you got a big event coming up.
Yeah.
April
19th at Commerce Casino, live on UFC Fight Pass. We've got some great fighters on that show. Saturday, Akhmedov's in the main event. Umar Jambekov, who trains here at WildCard Gym, he's on that show. We got Right Hook Roxy, who trains here also. You know Roxy. So, no, we're really excited about that show.
No, for sure,
talk to us about UFC Fight Pass. I've been seeing it everywhere. You know, what's going on with that? You know, it's new, obviously, to the boxing fans right now.
Well, we expanded it over the last 3 years. You know, we built Callum Walsh on UFC Fight Pass, and Dana's really happy with what we did or what we're doing on UFC Fight Pass. It's a worldwide app. It's the largest combat sports platform subscriber base, so we're really excited about that. And the guys are getting a lot of exposure. You see, Callum just fought in Dublin. Last year, he fought at Madison Square Garden for St. Patrick's Day, and we're doing the shows at Commerce Casino. Then we're doing the shows June 21 at Chumash, May 17th back at Commerce. So we're excited. We're keeping them busy, and we're doing a monthly series this year.
How excited are you about Callum Walsh?
Callum's
Dude's a
great.
beast, and he's in the 54-pound division, which right now I believe is the most loaded division in boxing. You know, how promising is Callum?
Callum, he's getting better. He's 13-0 with 11 knockouts. He just turned 24. We actually met with Dana White in Las Vegas on his 21st birthday. That was 3 years ago. So in 3 years, he's the fastest rising star. Like I said, 13 fights, fought 3 times at Madison Square Garden. You fought at the theater in Madison Square Garden. I remember that, 2013.
Yeah, 13.
January 2013 against Triple G. That was
Gabe don't
that
even
was a tough
remember
fight.
that.
It was January 19th.
Yeah, January.
Yeah,
for
it was
sure,
a test, brother.
For sure.
Yeah.
No,
So,
but definitely you want to take them, you know, or you will take them right, you know, slowly, because the 154 division right now is,
that's the best division.
That's a dangerous
But
division
you know,
right now.
Callum, man, he's an athletic fighter, got punching power. Kid got skills, and he got that swag and that charisma that he has a certain quality that stars have.
Yeah.
He has.
Who are you
that,
talking about? Me or no? I thought you were talking about me for that for a second. But
No, man,
Nah,
Callum, man, he's amazing, man. I've sparred with the kid, and honestly, man, for him being a 54-pounder, he punches like a super middleweight. He's a strong kid,
big puncher
man, strong
fast hands, super fast hands, and you combine that with the charisma and the Irish swagger, like you said. And he's got a big fan base. Yeah,
got a star right there in
he's
the
getting there.
making.
Southpaw and trained by Freddie Roach.
sure.
He's definitely on his way to becoming a world champion.
No, absolutely.
Other than him, who's the next fighter you got?
Then we got a Boachuk. You know Boachuk, Sergey Boachuk. He's going to fight on the May 17th show at Commerce Casino. So we have Boachuk and Omar Trinidad fighting on the same show.
Do we have an opponent yet for Boachuk?
We're working on it. We should announce that this week. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a big fan of Boachuk. I used to train at Manny's gym. You know, I trained there for a while.
Yeah.
And I used to see him spar, man. He was like one of the he spars like he fights. You
He's
know
like a machine.
You know how it is. Sometimes when it came to sparring, I would spar different. You know what I'm saying? Than actual fighting. And this guy, how he spars is how he fights. Like just
nonstop, right?
Nonstop, man. And then he'll come down from the sparring session, hit the heavy back with the same energy, same rhythm. Like, man, this guy doesn't get tired. He don't get tired. I like Boachuk, big fan.
Yeah. See, I go back with Tom when I fought Golovkin, right? And I was 54-pounder, and I moved up in weight.
Yeah, he was a mandatory number one contender for 154
for K9.
Yeah,
and I went up to fight Golovkin. Now, was it you that had reached out to the team?
To Russell Peltz, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And everything just
because you were from Philly and coming to New York and the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, man, and I remember you guys even were gonna give me the catch weight, and I told Russell, I said, "No, man, it's for the heavyweight title." I'll fight
because
him at
back then,
160.
Abner, nobody wanted to fight Triple G.
Right, yeah, this guy fought
he was
everyone
just
that nobody
starting-
wanted to fight.
he was just starting on HBO, and Gabe took the fight. It was a great show at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, man, yeah. For
I've
sure.
always said, and he said it as well, Gabe, you know this obviously as a promoter, manager, Gabe was one of the, toughest fighters out there.
Absolutely,
You know what I'm
100%.
saying? The toughest names that he fought, like you just mentioned right now, he didn't give a damn like who he had in front of him, but he didn't have the right people guiding him, like a Tom. He didn't have someone like, man, in
Should've
this fight,
fired Russell right after
I'm just saying, bro.
I should have fired
I think everybody saw that, bro, like you were taking tough fight after tough fight.
Yeah.
Knowing that, yeah, you could either were winnable fights, but that's not a way to take a certain fighter. And I'm sure
sure.
Tom can, agree on that.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. But that Triple G fight really elevated your profile, where
Definitely.
you got
The
a
name.
lot of opportunities after that, and you have like a who's who on your resume of who
You
you
got
fought.
everyone.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. What keeps you in the game, Tom? The game, the sport of boxing is a lot of things are changing right now. Turkey Al-Ashi and the streams and everything changing. No longer HBO. No
Yeah,
more
I grew up on
Showtime.
HBO.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And shout out to Jim Lampley, who's actually
Yeah.
going to call the
he's
fights
he's coming back.
in Times Square, because that's one of the best that did it in the game. So now that the game is changing, it's so different now. What keeps you going, and what is it that you kind of like about the game and don't like about the game right now that it's changing?
Gabe, I've been doing it for so long. I actually just got inducted into the National Boxing Hall of Fame
Oh, man,
after like
congratulations.
30,
Congrats, man.
32 years, something like
Well
that.
deserved.
Started with Kevin Kelly. You remember Kevin Kelly, the
Yeah.
Flushing
Of course.
Class from Flushing, Queens, New York. And, what motivates me is just giving these young fighters opportunities to get to the next level. A Callum Walsh, a Boachuk, all these guys. I was working with Boachuk since his third fight. Callum Walsh, we did his pro debut. So when you can take someone from their pro debut and then see him go all the way to being a top 10 rated fighter and then fighting for a world title, that's what motivates me at this point, because I've pretty much been everywhere. And with the Klitschko's, with Triple G, with Chocolatito, I did the Superfly shows. I've done a lot, and but right now I love just the energy that the young fighters have, and giving them an opportunity and a platform to stay active and to reach their goals.
For sure.
And who was, I know who, but so you can educate the people. Who was your first fighter? Who was the first fighter you started with?
First fighter
Go ahead.
ever was Kevin Kelly.
Kevin Kelly.
He won the WBC featherweight championship, and Oba Carr out of Detroit, Michigan.
Carr, man. I remember
Motor
Oba
City
Carr.
Carr. You remember?
Yeah.
Fought Felix Trinidad, fought Ike Corte, fought Oscar, fought Frankie Randall.
Wow, see,
he
I didn't
could
even
fight.
know
He
that
dropped
one.
Trinidad too.
He dropped Trinidad. He dropped into the
yeah,
second
yeah,
round. I think he made Trinidad mad.
Yeah, man. That was great, man. I think today is Golovkin's birthday, right?
It's his birthday.
it's his
43
birthday.
years
Happy
old.
birthday,
Shout out to
Golovkin.
him.
When you signed Golovkin, did you know that this guy was going to be what he turned out to be?
I knew he would be special when someone like Freddie, when I talked to Freddie about Callum Walsh, he's like, this is one of the best young fighters I've ever seen, one of the hardest punching guys that he's worked with. And Freddie's worked with so many world champions. Abel Sanchez, when I talk to Abel, I go way back with Abel to the Oba Carr days.
Yeah.
And he said Triple G was the hardest puncher that he's ever caught the mitts for. And so when he said that, he didn't have the same swagger like Callum does, as far as the interviews and the media and
He
everything
didn't
like
need that back then, I think so.
he his English was limited, so he had to do all of his talking in the ring, and his interviews after the ring, with Max Kellerman or Jim Lampley, whoever, it was like when he said he fights Mexican style, or when he called when the opponent's a good boy, whatever it was. I mean that's what caught the fans, and then he was knocking everybody out. I mean he had like 23 knockouts in a row. And that was exciting with Triple G. That's when I knew we had something special, and they didn't care who they fought. They would fight anyone, and he just wanted to prove himself in the ring.
Sure. I mean, was when Golovkin retired. Well, he hasn't officially retired. But
he's trying to save Olympic boxing now. He's trying.
Yeah.
He's working on saving it for the. Can you imagine Olympics without boxing? I mean, that's just, you can't even think about that.
No,
I
that's
heard they were trying to not for this next Olympics, right? They're trying to cancel
There was a
boxing.
question.
Yeah.
There was a question because they
Yeah.
had the Russian Federation, which was being disqualified by the International Olympic Committee, And Triple G is heading a different organization that looks like it's going to be approved for the next Olympics,
nice.
which would be a big deal for boxing.
Man, that's great. That's great, man. You know, man, we thank you for your time, man.
Appreciate it. I'm happy to be on the show.
Thank you, man.
Tom.
Thank you, man. You know,
Appreciate you, man.
Tom, let everyone know about the upcoming event, your handle, and Mi Gallo.
Well, we've got April 19th at Commerce Casino. Then we got May 17th at Commerce Casino. And then we got June 21 at Chumash Casino. So
And what's my date?
I knew you were gonna shoot it. Hey, shoot yourself,
you got lots of opponents lining up.
We got an announcement coming up soon. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
That's on a bigger platform.
Yeah, man. For sure.
No, but I appreciate you guys having me on the show. And just looking forward to these shows. These next 3 shows are going to be banging. You know, and Dana White has put his full support into what we're doing on UFC Fight Pass. And he's getting into boxing in a big way with Turkey Yellow Sheik.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
looking forward to what
Can't
he's
wait.
going to do for boxing as well.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate you, man.
Great to be here.